This is Austin St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
So Ron, how's Korea?
Korea was awesome. Thank you for asking. You've been spying on me on Facebook, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I did like your official page, so.
Nice. No, Korea was great. I had a chance to work with one of the best directors in all of Korea, and they flew me over there to shoot a Korean film. I do speak English. I do not speak Korean in it, but which makes sense because even in Korea, when they show American films in the theaters, they don't ever do dubbed subtitles. It's always just written out Korean titles, but they always leave the original language of any movie as its original. And they're going to do that for this one, and I'm being subtitled for their movie, so that's kind of cool. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. The production was super amazing to me. It was treated like a A-class celebrity.
Yeah, like seeing your pics of Korea, I actually want to go back because I actually haven't been there in 2009 and I actually loved it. So,
right. Yeah.
So
well, I recommend if they give you a free interpreter and a free driver every single day you're there, even the days you're not shooting, I would recommend that route because it's pretty
awesome. This is Morphin Network. We have a special guest, Captain Mitch himself, Ron Rogge. Hi, Ron.
Oh. Hey, what's happening?
What's happening, man? So let's get this interview started. So, Ron, can you briefly tell us about yourself?
Briefly?
Yeah, summarize.
I'm a man. I'm an actor that had a chance to be part of the Power Ranger universe for 1 year when we did Lightspeed Rescue. Let's see. I've done over 100 TV shows otherwise, so I consider myself more of an actor, more rather than a Power Ranger iconic character. But it's kind of fun that this is part of the resume. And I was born in Hawaii, raised in the Bay Area of San Francisco, been in LA 24 years. That's about it, I guess. Boring life, you know.
Boring.
That's not boring. 100 TV shows, that's amazing. But yeah, you are a character. And this isn't kind of cheesy, but you guys were actually the first season I watched on TV. So thank you for that. Yeah.
No, thank you for that. I should have thanked you for sure.
And your season's very nostalgic for me because it was the first season where I kind of started, following the story more. Before then, it was just, oh, hey, Power Rangers, I'm entertained. But now I'm just like, oh, this is like an ongoing thing. Okay.
Yeah. What was your favorite storyline of the series?
You and Red, the Kobe one, when you revealed like his son's story arc. We made a deal with Diabolico. Basically, it was a deal with the devil scenario, and that was actually kind of interesting back then.
Oh, sure. Yeah. The first All-American Ranger, they say. He became the Titanium Ranger. Yeah, that was a fun thing. The whole episode we're hanging off the cliff and all that stuff was pretty fun, doing that whole bit. And I got a call from the head of Saban. They were like, they loved the episode, so that was kind of fun. And the executive producer called me personally and said, thank you for that episode. It was really great. So, start of that series. Yeah, it's fun being the father of two Power Rangers.
So, my turn to ask?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I don't want to hear from you. I just want to hear from you. No, go ahead.
How did you get started in acting, Ron?
How did I get started in acting? I started in high school, I guess. I couldn't play football or basketball because I had an athletically induced asthma because I grew really too fast for my body had to catch up. So I couldn't do anything extracurricular other than either wrestling or theater. And I decided I didn't want to roll around in mats with other guys, so I went into theater. And then I started doing a lot of theater, community theater and otherwise in the Bay Area for many, many years before I ever decided to try to go into TV and film. Yeah. So there you go.
Nice. It's really like, I mean, yeah, I can see like, because also me back then, I tried doing sports. I mean, I did play basketball, but I tried varsity. I could not go to varsity, and then I could take cut, and then finally theater was a good way for me to express myself.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice. I actually did a little musical theater. Most people don't know I sing a little bit, but yeah, not gonna
multiple talented.
yeah.
Would have been interesting to have an episode of Lightspeed like that.
Yeah.
All right, should come up with the musical theater version or musical Power Ranger episode. I think that would be awesome.
Awesome.
They can call me. I'd probably do it.
Awesome. Speaking of Power Rangers, can you tell us what was the audition process like for Power Rangers?
Well, I'm sure mine was really unique. I kind of came in last minute. Iris Hampton, who's probably the nicest human being on the planet, certainly in Hollywood. I had met her in a different scenario. I was in casting myself. I was casting for Disney Channel. I was slightly involved for Even Stevens and even That's Raven. But then I met Iris at a casting seminar of sorts, and I mentioned to her that I also acted, and she said, "Come in tomorrow. We're in the middle of casting this thing." It was 2 pages, and I went in and did it. And then she said, called me later that day, said, "Come back the next day." And I was like, "Well, it's just a 2-page thing. Why would they want to see me again, right? We're just 2 pages." And she goes, "No, it's a recurring role." And I was like, "Really? Oh, okay." So I went back the next day. Famously, I did a little makeup adjustment because I was 20 years younger than they wanted to go for the part. So I actually added some gray in my hair and my eyebrows and stuff and went in a little bit. And then she called back again and said, "You're one of the top 2 finalists for the part. I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow." And then the next day she called and said, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Live interview here." Nice. So they called up she called up the next day and said that I was going to probably be the second choice, but then she called back after that and said the first choice guy, who was some English actor, had a vacation plan and he wouldn't give up the vacation. So she called me back and said, "You got it," because the other guy wouldn't give up his vacation. So that's how I got the part. It was a very simple process, and even the first choice.
So it was by chance. That's actually
How about that?
interesting. But I didn't know you weren't Even Stevens part of his casting project. Because like Even Stevens actually was one of my favorite shows growing up too.
I thought it was Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue, Even Stevens.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, serious. Well, okay, Lightspeed Rescue was the first that got me. Well, that got me like first cable because before the VHS tapes. So you guys were the first I would see like live like every Saturday afternoon. So
there you go. Yeah.
What was the experience like while filming Power Rangers?
That was cool. I loved it. I had fun. I wish I would have taken it more seriously. I just thought it was a little kid show, and now that I'm an acting coach here in LA, I look back on the footage and I'm like, oh man, I could have done so much better. But to me, it was just, oh, I got a job. It's cool. It's a kid show. I'll do this while I'm trying to get other stuff. And I wish I would have had more reverence for it as an actor, to be honest. But it was fun. I had a great experience. There was a SAG. So a lot of the shows went on strike. They're trying to get better contracts, and because we were cast enough early before the strike, we were allowed to continue shooting. So a lot of my friends were walking picket lines while I was shooting. So for me, it was an awesome experience because I got to be working while a lot of people couldn't because the strike was going on.
awesome.
Fascinating.
I mean, you did have a good job because, like, of all the Power Rangers seasons I watched, your season was actually one of the most kind of serious seasons. Actually, was well acted. Not to hate on other seasons, but like, your guys' season was really acted well.
You guys felt very
cool.
Yeah.
You guys,
my cast was really great. I still wish I could go back and they shot so fast too. You would do something and you wouldn't like it, and they were like, "Well, look, can we shoot it again?" No, we gotta go. We gotta go. Or they didn't shoot it once. I think they even shot a rehearsal. We were rehearsing it. They go, "We actually like that. We rolled the camera, so we're just going to keep that and move on." I'm like, "No, I didn't do anything. I was just saying the line because it was a rehearsal." And they're like, "No, we loved it. Moving on." But thank God I had good acting partners in all the cast that year. So great.
Yes.
Covered up my flaws, I think.
Now, you talked about your experience. Now, was there any fun behind the scenes moments with your cast members?
Fun?
Yeah, pranks, jokes, anything you would like to share, if you could.
Pranks. I think if there were any pranks to be pulled on the set, it was kind of probably me. No, Sean was pretty funny too. Allison was pretty straight laced. Monica was awesome, always very silly on set. Keith was always very interesting to watch. It was his first audition, I think, and came from the music world, so it was always fun to be around on set because Sasha was really amazing, just a really warm and wonderful person. I guess if anybody was pulling jokes, me mostly.
Besides from Power Rangers, what's some of your favorite acting projects that you've done?
Well, I had a chance to Stranger Things. I enjoyed that experience. I've done a lot of cool stuff. Some people know of, some people don't. I liked. I just had last year. I spent a lot of time on the 13, 13 Reasons set. Excuse me. 13 Reasons. The other Netflix show last year. Ouch! Hold on for a second. I got a thing here too going on. I recently 13 Reasons Why. I meant to say I had a good time shooting the pilot for SEAL Team for CBS. That was cool. I really liked Modern Family because I was a big fan of the show, and I had a chance to work on that show, which was cool. And work with Ty Burrell, who had just won the Emmy, so that was kind of cool. I had a series that I did for Sundance Channel called Hap and Leonard, where I shot like the first season as Hap's father and all the flashbacks, and that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a ton. Man on the High Castle, that was just a fun shoot. I got to do the pilot up in Seattle. We were one of 11 pilots. They picked up 2. The show went on. I only did the pilot, unfortunately. So that was disappointing, but I had a fun shoot with that. Let's see some of my other favorites. American Horror Story Hotel, because that set was beautiful to be on. Earlier on in my career, I did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that was such a favorite show of me, iconic. And I got first multi-day shoot. Usually, I just got a day here and a day there. And for Buffy, I worked on it for like a week, and so that was kind of fun when you're just starting out as an actor. So that's about it.
What's actually cool was you're in Stranger Things, so I love that show.
Yeah, well, 13 Reasons Why. I was not really, it's more about the kids. I was just kind of supporting, playing the high school football coach. So I wasn't like had a lot of really strong featured stuff. It was just a job to be around, and it gave me a chance to go back to San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm from, and spend a lot of time up there. I think I did 5 or 6 episodes. It was awesome. It was cool.
So you were in season 3 of Stranger Things then?
Stranger Things, I was season 1. 13 Reasons Why I was in season 3.
Okay.
I was the high school coach in 13 Reasons Why, and that was in San Francisco last year. Stranger Things, we shot. I mean, when I shot it, nobody knew it was going to be the hit it was. Right? I was just shooting in Atlanta. Very cold in December again in Atlanta, and I showed up at the set the night before, and they're like, "Try this on," and they handed me a wetsuit. I'm like, "Well, why are you handing me a wetsuit?" They go, "Oh, you're going into the lake tomorrow in the middle of December in the coldest winter on record." I was like, "Oh, lovely." I didn't know I was supposed to be the guy that pulls the body out of the water in episode what was it 3? And episode 4 is when I did all the scenes with Hopper and the newscast and all that stuff. But nobody knew it was going to be like when I told people I was doing this thing called Stranger Things. They're like looking at me like I'm speaking French. And it was like until it came out and suddenly it was an overnight success. Then suddenly people are like, "Why did you tell me you were in Stranger Things?" I'm like, "I did, but you didn't know the name at the time." I guess. So, there you go.
As I told you earlier before this podcast started, interview, you were actually one of the highly requested. Now,
Wow.
yeah, highly requested of this year. You're actually in the top 5 highly requested.
Wow. I won't ask who the others are. I'll just take it graciously and thank everybody out there.
Speaking of the fans, can you tell us your thoughts in the Power Ranger fandom? Like, well, we know like the Power Ranger fandom is a very positive community. Can you explain like any fun experiences you had in cons on the mount, like Con or anything fun memories you have?
Oh, I mean, I'm such a small little part of it. That's cool just to get any reaction really from people or just anybody who's interested in coming in by and saying hi and getting pictures or whatever. I've enjoy that part of it. I'm certainly not part of the original core of guys like Walter and all those guys and Jason and all them that tend to be like ultra things. I wasn't even a Power Ranger myself. I was one of the incidental characters, right? So my experiences have all been good. I had a great experience, and I went to London last year to a convention to sign. It wasn't in London, actually Midlands, about an hour north of London, which was in Coventry. I enjoyed that experience. That was fun. Anytime you have a chance to go out and meet fans is cool. I have a lot of spillover people that tend to want to meet because of the other things like Stranger Things and stuff, and that's kind of cool. But so it's just one part of the resume. But I do enjoy the people that like it and have positive things to say about how we help them, because my character was very was almost father. I mean, he was a father on the show, but he was also a commander, and he was also supportive and helping people like the Red Ranger and stuff. And learn lessons in life and apply that to themselves. Some people have been very gracious and saying how it affected them, and that's kind of a nice feeling. You don't know when you're shooting at the time it's going to have that far-reaching effect. Because at the time I thought just kids show, it was great. I started getting a little bit more serious about it when like Make-A-Wish kids would show up on set, and kids who were very sick, wanted to, as their last wish, wanted to meet Power Rangers. And so we started doing a lot of that kind of stuff, and it started to like, wow, we're really out there affecting people right now. So that kind of made me like, have a bigger realization how big the world was at the time, because we were shooting in the corner of Santa Clarita, north of here. I was thinking nobody knows where we are. We're just in this little tiny little podunk community in a warehouse in the back shooting these things, and you don't realize how far-reaching the effect is until years later sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is like, right. Yeah, that's the reason why we love Power Rangers, because it is a great inspiration to a lot of kids, and especially to people. And I mean, Ron, like your role, like it's not, I mean, it's really great. Like, I know you say you're part of a small part of the universe, but to us, it was big because you were technically the first spotter to be a mentor and a great role model, especially to kids, because a great fatherly role model, like how father should be that way, and like especially like when you were a dad to Carter or Sean's character, that was a great episode. I actually like that because he had
you mean the episode where I got to kick Sean's butt?
That
one?
Yeah, and that was
fun.
That was one of my
favorites. Remind him about that in every interview. Hello, Sean. Remember, I was the only one that kicked the Red Ranger's butt. The mentor thing was always a cool thing, I guess. Yeah.
Where do you see Captain Mitchel now in the Power Ranger world? Like, what do you think he's doing these days?
Oh, I'm sure he's out there trying to save the world as best he can, right? Continuing this mentorship is always a good thing. Probably always filling that role. It would be fun to have him pop up in today's universe, I think he'd still fit right in. I think he'd be able to show up and have things to say and be influential to people, right?
Right.
Uh,
The current season, it's also it's also government themed, like Lightspeed. So yeah, you'd fit right in, or Mitchell
yeah,
would fit right in.
we should call Chip. Hey, Chip. So Chip was our writer that wrote my character, probably created it back in the day, and now he's running the whole ship down there. But it's down in New Zealand now, and it's non-union. I don't know.
What's funny about that season is the mentor's also a parent. This time it's a mom.
Yeah, it's a mom. Oh,
It's a mom with a Blue Ranger. And I was like, so
I'm sure Chip had something to do with that too, because he created my character. So I'm sure he's kind of responsible for doing that as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice to any aspiring actor or actresses that's going in the acting field?
Yeah, if you can do anything else in your life, I would recommend that you do it. And I say that jokingly, but not so much. I think it's a very difficult route. I think you have to make a lot of sacrifices in your life. I mean, you don't have to, but really you do, and you subject yourself to a lot of negativity, a lot of no's, a lot of no thank yous. Sometimes without the thank yous, just the no's. It's you really have to have that drive that you don't want to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can turn people away now by saying it's really difficult and you don't want to do it, and they go away, they probably didn't have what it took in the first place to succeed, because there is so much that you have to do to get to a higher level. I mean, I coach actors. I'm probably going to start a series of online acting coach things, which you can look for in the next couple months. I'm going to start doing that because I am an acting coach. I have Facebook page. I think it's the Acting Coach of LA, or LA Acting Coach. I have to look that up. But I'm going to start dropping stuff on there, putting stuff online, and giving actor tips and stuff. So trying to make that available, only because I hate the whole system where you feel like you have to come to LA, and to compete you have to pay all these people who are claiming, to be the naysayers of acting. I mean, the not the naysayers, but but claim to be the know it all in acting, and come to me and pay me a lot of money to be able to act, so you can learn, how to be out there. And I think that's one of the things I don't like about LA and acting, is that there's so many hands out reaching for your money and trying to convince people to pay them a lot of money because they need money because they're not acting. I'm not that situation. I charge not too much for acting coaching, um, and putting people on tape, and just guiding people sometimes in the careers, but only because it disgusts me when people are trying to charge like $300 an hour to coach actors, and it's like, some of these jobs don't even pay that much. Why would you pay somebody that much to go in, just because you feel like um, you don't understand the buzzword that they throw at you, and you make you feel like you're insecure about being an actor, and you feel like, oh, I better pay somebody a lot of money so I can feel like I'm educated, right? And I hate that part of it. But
Mm-hmm.
this business has a way of making you feel very insecure about yourself and your talents, and a lot of it's just luck. You could be the best actor in the world and know exactly what you're doing and hit every note, but if you're not in the right situation or getting the opportunity to even audition, like a lot of people I know don't even get the audition opportunities, then it's very tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come to LA ready to rule the world and be the next Brad Pitt. Um, but the reality of it is, it's a very difficult, competitive business, and if you don't have the right series of things that happened, plus the talent, because half of it's about business and half of it's about talent. You could have one and not the other, and not go anywhere, or you don't have both equally. You have to be really good at both, and that it just takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of intelligent decisions that have to be made. Avoid the, the potholes that are out there that exist, that people who are trying to take advantage of people seeking fame will try to do.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on about this, and I don't want to get too long winded, but that's my answer. In short.
That's great
Very
advice.
good advice.
Very good
Very
advice.
good advice.
Really good
But if
advice.
you can do anything else, do it. If you can go out there and be, be a teacher, be an engineer, be something, and you'll be rewarded by that, it'll be much more rewarding for you ultimately than acting. Because very, very, very few people get to be the elite, that live in the big homes, right? And that have fans all over the world because you're the star of the next DC movie or whatever,
Right.
the next Marvel.
Yeah, great advice. So our last question is: do you have any upcoming projects or any conventions attending you want to share with your fans?
Well, I've done a couple of indie films this year that should be coming out. I did this Korean film, but we don't know if it's ever going to make it to the U.S. It will probably definitely release in Korea next year, called Road to Boston. They're hoping for a U.S. release, but you never know. It depends how good the movie is and how well it's received. I did the last episode of the season for Why Women Kill. I was a detective, did a guest star on that. That was on the CBS paid network. I did a really cool scene for a new Showtime pilot. I went down to New Orleans, which I love New Orleans. Hello, New Orleans, love you. And we went down and shot a pilot with Bryan Cranston for Showtime of the Breaking Bad fame, and he's playing a judge. It's a show called Your Honor, and I'm just in the pilot. I had a kind of a nice meaty scene with him, and I got to stand in front of him for like 6 hours while he just kind of gave me this incredible monologue and just berated me on the spot for 6 hours. And I was just standing there in awe as an actor going, this is like a master class of acting with Bryan Cranston acting at my face for 6 hours. And I was like, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. That was pretty cool. And that's a show called Your Honor again. I just read for another thing I hope to get. It went really well. Can we swear on this? Probably not, huh?
No.
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 The cast director goes, I effing love that audition. So it turns into work. And that's a new miniseries with Angeline, but I'm not in or not cast yet, but it would be fun to do because she's sort of an iconic pop character here in Hollywood.
Speaking of Brian, he was also in Power Rangers, was he not? Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was the Zordon in the last movie, right? But he was also in. I understand he did an episode when he was younger.
Yeah, he did a few voiceovers in his first season.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Brian. I didn't really talk to him about that. I should have. I was just trying to be. It was a big deal because it was the pilot episode, and there were a lot of people, a lot of execs on set, and I was just trying to just do my job and get out. But if I ever saw him again, now that we have this relationship, we definitely will have conversations about Power Rangers with him, I'm sure.
From one Power Ranger mentor to another.
That's right.
Yeah, there was. What's the % chance that you will be in Morphicon next year?
Well, I've done Morphicons 4 years in a row. I was the first cast member from Lightspeed to do it. And then I started talking all of them to coming. I'd like to try to get Monica there. I don't think she's ever been.
Yeah.
But I think all of them have been there now. I mean, as far as the cast itself, the Power Rangers, all of them have now been. Some come for a day, some come for a couple hours, but they all show up at some point. But yeah. I have to go because Scott, who runs the Morphicon, did that series for Netflix where they had the toys episode about the toys, and they threw me in for like 2 seconds with my eyes burning red. The power went out, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, great, you used me. Nobody ever paid me for that. We have to talk about this.
That was Everett Sanchez says, "Hey, Captain Mitchell."
Yo, buddy, what's happening?
Ryan E. Thomas says, "Hey, Ron."
Hey, what's happening?
JD Clark says, "Hi."
Hey, hi. What's happening? How are you?
Ryan's asking, damn it. Okay. What was it like working with Sean and Mike and the rest of the cast?
I think I said, yeah, we had a great time. Really good guys. Matter of fact, and I don't know, I'm not. This is not disparaging to any of the cast, but some of the crew, because they knew that we were only going to do the 40 episodes. Some of the crew were like petitioning upstairs to try to get us to stay on because they claimed, whether this is true or not, or they're just trying to butter us up, they claimed that we were their favorite cast and they didn't want to have to go through another cast again. They just wanted to stay with us because we all got along. Everybody was kind and decent and respectful to each other. And I think that showed through on the with the crew as well. Obviously, people saw that, led by Sean. Sean is the most gracious, humble, awesome person you'll ever meet. He's just God. He's a really good guy. It's in person too, and in life, and they all are really. I mean, Allison. I love Allison with all my heart. She's such a funny person. It doesn't always show, but she's really got a big heart. She actually had me in a film that she wrote last year or 2 years ago that we did. And they're just all really good people. Keith has went on to big things. He went on and did major movies and had some recording contracts and stuff, but he's still just a good guy. Still catching up with him from time to time. Mike has done really well in the I guess in the fighting world and stuff, and he does a lot of that kind of stuff still.
Mm-hmm.
And Sasha is just great. I don't talk to Monica as much as I'd like to. She got married a while back, but we'll try to get her to Morphicon. How's that? That will be all of our goals. We should all try to reach out and try to demand Mrs. Fairweather, Monica, to come to the convention next year.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
And Mike and Sasha is awesome. We actually interviewed them like last year, and they were really great.
And not to forget Ryan, who our sixth ranger and our first American ranger. Ryan's a great guy. Just had a baby. What a lucky family that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, lovely wife and baby, and just a really good guy too. He also is in the music world too, which is kind of cool. Kind of fun to support him. Buy his CDs. Buy Keith's CDs. Or do they sell CDs anymore? Probably not.
Download his music.
I actually did download his song in my iPad like 4 months ago because he asked like, "Hey, can you download it?" Okay.
You are the man. You are the man. I'm sure they really appreciate it too. Allison and Ryan and I set up the Lightspeed Mitchell family Facebook page, which everybody out there should like. There's a Captain Mitchell of Lightspeed Rescue Facebook page, and I have an acting page. My personal one is filled up with 5,000, but you can do the acting page of Ron Rogge if you're interested. And also the acting coach of LA, or LA acting coach, is also for those actors out there that want to try to like stuff. You can go ahead and do that and try to keep current with stuff. I get really busy at times. I don't always have time to put stuff on there, but when I do, hopefully it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. In the Time Force Lightspeed team up, you voiced the monster Corgonaut.
Quagmire or Corga? How do you say that? I don't even know.
I don't even know if Corgonaut, I think, is what it was called. Were you set to appear in that episode, or was it because you also did the voice of the monster, or like?
No. I mean, I think we were. Well, I had a relationship with Scott. Scott is our post-production producer, and he had a great. We always had talk about fun stuff. He would have recordings that would embarrass us all, and made a lot of blooper reels about everything that happened when we did ADR, especially when you spent a lot of time in there. I didn't do too many fun stunt fight scenes, but when you did, it was always going in there going ooh, ah, 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 things like that. It was always really fun. So always had fun with Scott. But then Scott was like, "Hey, do you want to come in and do a monster voice for the next season?" I was like, "Where do I sign up? I'm going. I want to do it. I love that. I missed our time in the booth because we had so much fun." So nice. Kind of how that came. He was like,
JD Parks calls you the best Ranger mentor ever.
Bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
James L. Kelly says Captain Mitchell's 100% the greatest Ranger mentor. I agree with that.
Well, thank you again. That's always good to hear because, like I said, it's surprising to get that later. It's been almost 15 years since we did that season, so it's always still nice to hear that. I'm glad we're affecting people and that the show got released on DVD and it's back out there, so we're getting new fans, which is always fun too. People that hadn't seen it back in the day.
Oh my god! And then Bonus is asking, how did it feel like to beat the Red Ranger?
How did it feel like to beat him up?
Yeah.
Just another day in the park of being Captain Mitchell.
Brandon Collins is asking, oh my gosh, this is working. Okay, what if Hasbro could bring back Power Rangers? Well, technically, he's asking if we could come back. We would love to come back for Power Rangers.
Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, we'd have to get over some stuff. Like I said, when Disney bought Power Rangers and sent it to New Zealand, they made it non-union again, and I'm a union actor, so it would be difficult to go back unless they were able to figure out some kind of situation was rectified. But in a heartbeat, I'd go back if that wasn't an issue. If there was enough fan demand out there for Captain Mitchell to come back, maybe they'd listen and maybe we'd have a nice appearance. It would be kind of cool.
Nathan's saying, hold up, Nathan. Ashcraft, last part of WorldCon, my son and daughter took a picture with them, and he let my son wear the jacket from the set. So I don't even remember that guy, but he took a picture with you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We were all given one little gift from set, and my gift was I got my training outfit, the same one I kicked Carter Grayson's butt in. The training outfit had the insignia on the chest and stuff, that sweat jacket. They couldn't give me my uniform because I was wearing a real Navy uniform that was rented. So they couldn't give that to me because all the kids got all their Lightspeed jackets, the orange ones with all the decals on it. They couldn't give me my uniform because it was a rental uniform. So I got the sweatsuit. And yes, last Morphicon I brought it, and I thought it'd be fun for the fans, that might want to put it on just to try it. It was actually used in the series, so for a couple episodes there. So it was cool. It was cool bringing that and having people do that.
Matthew Thompson is asking, "What's up, Ron? How's the sushi in SoCal?"
The sushi is awesome. We love the sushi. I got a place down the street called The Sushi. It's all you can eat, so you can just sit there and eat sushi until you drop. Load up with mercury. It's probably not good for you, but hard to resist sushi.
What was your favorite episode to film?
Oh, we get that question a lot. It's hard. I mean, I think we talked about the episode where I was hanging on the cliff and that whole episode because it was primarily my story and how the Red Ranger, the Titanium Ranger came about in existence and how he's related to Allison and my character. And so that was a kind of I finally got to do some episodes. I was only in a couple of times with a headset going, "Go get him, go kick butt." But some episodes like that, I actually had a lot to do acting wise, which was really fun. The cliff scene in particular stands out, except the strap was a little too tight around my groin or my crotch, and I had to take a breather because it was cutting into it because they were hanging me off this thing, the strap, and it was like it'd been put on in the wrong angle, and it was like, oh, I can't talk. I gotta get out of this thing. That was interesting. I also liked being evil when I got to actually battle the Power Rangers.
Yes,
got to put in the red contact lenses, and I think he did pretty well kicking the entire Ranger pack. Right?
Yep.
Captain Mitchell was pretty much taking on the whole team there. That was kind of fun too.
Yes.
Must obey.
I'll help you. I'll put my glasses
under the ocean. Yeah.
How did the Aqua Base got filmed under?
Was it in the ocean?
Ocean, or was there real water around it? No. I mean, that's just movie effects, right? TV special effects. The base was probably a model that they shot somewhere. But so the exterior stuff, as far as they're looking at the water, was we were never in water, except at the very end when we had to escape, and they brought us down to a pool, Olympic-sized pool that we shot a lot of underwater stuff. We were swimming. That was real water, obviously. And then the set itself, they actually spent probably people don't know this, $1 million on the actual building of the interior of the set. So all those hallways and the sliding doors and my quarters and the individual quarters of it wasn't a cafeteria, but what do they call that where you serve
galley?
The galley, I guess. Yeah, and then also really impressive was the area where the actual there was a lift and a car would come in like it was pulling in, and all that whole quarters, and where there was a tank where you're supposed to jump in the water and go down. That was really cool. And Mrs. Fairweather's laboratory was kind of cool. That was $1 million set they built. That was pretty amazing, actually. I was really, and it was all painted to be metallic, even though most of it was wood. But that was really impressive. When I walked in that set, I was like, "Wow, this is cool." And someone's like, "Yeah, they probably dropped $1 million on this." We're like, "What? That's insane." But it shows. I think the quality on the show, if you actually look at the set as a character, it's actually as important as some of us, because it was just well thought of and well designed by our art department.
So that's pretty much the interview. Interview's done. Yeah, thank you so much, Ron, for being our special guest.
We're done. Hang loose, baby. Hang loose.
Thank you guys for the fans and viewers who've been watching. You actually requested Ron for this past year. You got it, end of the year.
Thank you for that. I'm blessed to have people out there that appreciate the character.
Before we leave, Ron, where can we find you in social media?
Oh, well, we did that, but we'll do it again because you can't hurt, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I posted more on Instagram. I'm trying to. My friend's kid actually created the account, but it's the real Ron Rogge, RonRogge. And then Facebook, I have a personal account. It's maxed out, but I have the acting one, which is Ron Rogge. We have the Lightspeed Mitchell family for Allison and Rhett and myself, and then Captain Mitchell has his own page, Captain Mitchell. So Captain Mitchell Lightspeed Rescue, I believe it is. And then the LA acting coach is mine too. So if people are interested in acting, that's another fun thing to be able to do. So.
Awesome.
Right. And by the way, speaking of social media, it's great to relate to fans, but sometimes I don't go on there sometimes for a while, and people get really upset. And I'm like, don't be upset, because some of us have other stuff that we do. We have lives. And if you responded to everybody who sends a wave, I still don't understand what that is. It's like, hi. And I got one guy that was waving 3 times a day for like 3 months, and I said hello once or twice, but then he kept waving, and I'm like, that doesn't. I don't know how to respond to that. So, if you have a legitimate thing, and that's cool, and I can get to it, it might take some time, but I try to respond eventually, but just impossible sometimes when you got a lot of stuff going on.
Understandable.
Very understandable. Cameron, can you find you on social media?
What is it?
Me on my regular. Oh, he was asking where you can find. You can find me on Instagram at brown_K, and I might be opening up a few Facebook pages of my own.
Nice.
And Daggerboy, where can we find you?
That's your boy Super7 Instagram, and please follow us at Morphin Network at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and Twitter. Yes, we have a Twitter account. Again, thank you, Mr. Captain Mitchell, Ron Rogge, for being our special guest.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you for having me.
As we end this interview,
have a great holiday season. I will talk to you all soon at Morphicon, hopefully.
Yep. In his interview, we do a goodbye wave. So, bye, guys.
Later. Hang loose, as we say in Hawaii. Hang loose.